So we basically uh, talked about the data, information, types of the data, and these the alphanumeric type, and also image type, audio type, and video type. We also talked about here we talked about. So let me clear all the drawing. We also talked about the some levels of the data processing. If you remember, we gave the example of the data processing. If you remember, we said that if we have the data of Afghanistan country, then based upon that data, we can do some data processing, which we studied some data processing life cycle and also electronic data processing. Then in this particular lecture, we also some studied some, for instance, what is software, what is program, for instance. We talked about the programming languages, we talked about the source code and object code, we talked about the CPU, we talked about the memory. We also talked about the basic units of data storage, those bits, bytes, the GBs, the TBs, and these things. We talked about the storage devices also, the RAM, random access memory, the hard disk, for instance, and we differentiated between the main memory and the hard disk. And also, mm, uh, so let me check it that the remaining is left. Okay. So in this particular lecture, we talk about this portion of the course, which is advanced features of the Microsoft Word. We will be talking about the tables, how we can insert the tables into Microsoft Word, and also typing and moving within the tables, selecting the tables, resizing the tables, inserting and deleting rows and columns within a table, drawing toolbar, hyperlinks, mail merge, and template. So it is basically our lecture today. In Microsoft Word, we study only these, what you can say, features. If we had time in the future, we will come back and study some other parts of the Microsoft Word. So I'm going to share you the presentation. It is, I think, chapter 8. So first of all, we are going to define Microsoft Word. After that, we will continue. So what is the objective of this chapter? The objective of this chapter is to familiarize you with Microsoft Word. What is Microsoft Word? We will study the concept of word processing. We will be talking about the word processors, those programs which we call the word processors. What are the functionalities of those programs? And also the features of the word processors. We talk about the Microsoft Word interface, then we will move towards the practical, okay? So first of all, what is Microsoft Word? So here is the question. What is Microsoft Word? What is Microsoft Word? As you know that Microsoft Word, we call it a word processing program. We call Microsoft Word a sophisticated word processing program. Then if a person asks you that what does it mean word processing? So here we have a definition. When you use some sort of software, when you use a computer, and when you use a sort of software for the purpose of creation, edition, and formatting the text document, so you are basically performing a task. So this task is known as the word processing. When you use a computer program in order to create, in order to edit, in order to format text documents, you are performing a task, and we call that task as word processing. Or you can say when you are performing the documentation, so it is known as the word processing. What is documentation? Documentation is creating the document, editing the document, formatting text documents. So it is the documentation. When you are performing this documentation, it means you are performing word processing. So what is word processor then? It is This task was known as word processing. And what is word processor? Like teacher. Teaching is basically a process. Teacher is that person basically who teaches. So it is the same as this one. The word processor is that program which perform the word processing. It means is a program which perform these operations. When when you use a program to create, edit, and format text documents, that program is known as the word processor. Then very simple. Word processing is that process. Word processor is that program which performs the word processing. These are some well-known word processors. For instance, the most used and most common one is Microsoft Word, which nowadays millions or even billions of people around the world are using this software, Microsoft Word. Lattice is another word processor. Word Pro is another word processor. Word Perfect is another processor. But in this particular lecture, we talk about Microsoft Word. And here is another definition for the Microsoft Word. You can define it as this one, that it is a word processor program. What is word processing? Here is the definition of word processing. But you can also use this definition. It means you can use Microsoft Word for authoring, for formatting, and for publishing all business and personal documents. When you use a sort of software, when you use Microsoft Word, you use Microsoft Word for efficiently authoring, formatting, publishing all kinds of business and personal documents. All kinds of business and personal documents. So it is known as the Microsoft Word, a word processor program. For instance, you want to uh, create a book, for instance, write a book, you use Microsoft Word. The book For the book, you have to format it basically properly and efficiently. And also for the purpose of the publication, also you have to print all those documents. It means that program should provide you this capability, which is known as the publication publishing. So we can call it word processor program. So there are two definitions. One is this one. You can also use this definition, or you can use the word processing definition. So hope the concept is clear, but in this particular lecture, we talk about Microsoft Word. We are not talking about the latest or Word Pro or Word Perfect or some other word processings which are out there. But we only talk about Microsoft Word. Only some limited options which are available in your syllabus. So basically, guys, uh, these are some features of word processing program. Is a kind of assignment for you guys. Okay, approximately 3 slides. So it is basically your home assignment. Please do it at home, because we have to move towards the practical. Okay, and all these things, some of them we do it practically inside this document. So prior to getting started with Microsoft Word, we should be familiarized with the environment of the Microsoft Word. We call the environment of Microsoft Word as the interface. When we say the interface of Microsoft Word, it means the environment of Microsoft Word. So we have the title bar, we have the quick access toolbar, we have the ribbons, we have the tabs, we have the vertical and horizontal roller bars, we have the vertical and horizontal scroll bars, we have zoom slider bar, We have a status bar, and we have, yes, that's enough, the status bar. So these are what we can say, the interface of Microsoft Word. So I'm going to share you the screen, guys, of Microsoft Word. Then we shall start. So let's begin. So first of all, when you open Microsoft Word, so this screen will appear for you, guys. So this part, which is which here appears for you, this part is known as the title bar. The title bar is basically the name of the document, the name of the program, and the name of the document for you. So it is known as the title bar. So inside this title bar, there is a text, so we can call it the caption. So this text is known as the caption, and we can call these buttons as the caption buttons: the close, the maximize, and the minimize. So there are basically three buttons, but here we got the fourth button, which it shows or hides what we can say, so, this ribbon. So we are not talking about this button, okay? Ribbon display options, basically some options. If you don't want those, for instance, the tabs, you simply hide it. Only the tabs will be shown, and the ribbon will be hidden, okay? If you want the tabs and the commands, the ribbons, then it will be shown for you. So we have the title bar. It is the title of the document, name of the document. Plus we have some caption buttons over here: the close, the minimize, the maximize. We have some display options, ribbon display options, which you can do it. If you say auto hide this, then it is like this. If you go there, then you can hide it or unhide it or whatever, okay? Show the tabs only for me. So these are the tabs basically. If you say that I want those tabs and also the ribbons, you click on this one. So it is very simple. So at this position we have a mini toolbar. It is known as the quick access toolbar. We have some uh, there are some commands basically, uh, which you use them frequently. So you put it in this toolbar, and we can call it the quick access toolbar. For instance, the save. If you go here and save the document, so it is a little bit what we can say, uh, a long process. So for this purpose, we put some commands here, and we can call it the quick access toolbar because we can access them very quickly. I don't go, for instance, here to save the document. I simply click upon this one for saving. So it is much more quick as compared to as uh, going to File tab and here, then press the Save button, then select the location. So it is a bit long process, but for for quick access, we use this quick access toolbar. You can add some commands here. For instance, the new. If you click new, you will get a new document. So here it is a new document, another new document, for instance. If you go to file and then to new, then here you choose the blank document. So it is a long process basically. So we use this quick access toolbar for this one. So you can basically add some commands here. For instance, I want to add this mailing option, quick print, for instance, okay? The draw toolbar, for instance, when you want to draw some tables. If you don't want them, so you uncheck them. For instance, I don't want the draw table, is the quick access toolbar. So at this, so these are called the tabs basically. These are called the tabs. We have, for instance, the file, we have home, insert, design, layout, references, mailing, review, and view. So these are some standard tabs basically. When you click upon a tab, so a ribbon will display. So this is called the ribbon. This is called the ribbon. When you click upon a tab, for instance, is a home tab, so a ribbon will display for you. So these are called the groups. For instance, the clipboard, we have the font, we have the paragraph, we have the style, we have the editing. So these are known as the groups. So a bunch of commands are grouped together, so we call them a name here. The clipboard, for instance, this group is known as a font containing all the commands which are regarding the font. So these are all the commands which are regarding the paragraph. So we have the style group also, we have the editing group also. So this button here, it is known as the dialog box launcher. It is known as the dialog box launcher. If some options doesn't appear here in these groups, so you can click a dialog box launcher for more commands. For instance, I need a command which is not appearing here, so I click on dialog box launcher. So here is the dialog box launcher for the clipboard. It is the dialog box launcher for the font. All the commands regarding the font, which are some of them are not available here in this grouping, so I might click on dialog box launcher to view all the commands. So as for the paragraph, there is a dialog box launcher, so I can access all the commands regarding this grouping known as the paragraph. So this is the horizontal and vertical ruler bar. Horizontal and vertical ruler bar. So this portion. So it tells you about your document, your margin, basically, where you start and where you end, for instance, like this, for instance. It is the starting and ending point of your the document. For instance, it starts, your text is starting from here and to, for instance, here. So it is known as the roller bar. So at this, we also have a horizontal and vertical scroller bar. So it is known as the scroller bar. If the text is not showing here for you, then you might use this scroll bar to scroll, basically, to go to different parts of the document. So here we have the horizontal and also the vertical roller bar, basically, scroller bar, basically. If the text is not showing properly, then you can move the scroller bar to show it properly for you. So these are known as the scroller bars. So this is known as the status bar. It gives you a lot of information about your document. For instance, the section, the page number, for instance, we have only one page. We have 6 lines, for instance. You can check it: 3, 4, 5, and 6. Number of words. So these are the number of words, basically. If you select, so it is a very cool feature. So you are selecting 38 words of 68. Total we have 68 words, so we have selected 38 words. And also it gives us some information about the language which we are using. And you also can add some other information about the document, for instance. So it is possible. You can unhide, for instance, the section if you don't need it. So the section is unhide it if you want to bring it back. So here is the section. The page number is a good information for us. Okay, the line number, here the line number, you can check it, uncheck it. So it gives us a lot of information about the document. So this portion is known as the zoom slider bar. Zoom slider bar. It is basically used to zoom in and zoom out your document. For instance, you want to zoom in, you want to zoom out. Very simple. Zoom slider bar. So it was a very short information about the interface or environment of Microsoft Word. So let's guys check the syllabus that what do we have. So let's talk about the tables first of all, how we create tables in Microsoft Word. Then we will be talking about the typing and moving with the tables, selecting the tables and resizing the tables, inserting the rows and deleting the columns. Okay, we talk about this one. Talk about the drawing toolbar. So let's talk about the tables. So I'm going to share the screen with you guys again. So basically, if you want to insert a table, so what you have to do is click upon the insert tab. So we have here we have a grouping known as the table. So here you can insert the table. So here you mention the dimension of the table, the dimension, the number of rows, and the number of columns of the table. You can also here specify the dimension of the table, the number of rows, and the number of columns from here. For instance, I want a table, the number of columns, I want 3 columns based on our requirement, and the number of rows, I need, for instance, the 3 number of rows. So click it OK. So here the table is made for you. So when you, for the first time, you create a table, so here we don't have any other here any tabs here. When you click upon the table, so here are 2 tabs are showing. We call them as contextual tabs. We call them as contextual tabs, which are the design in the layout, which are the design and layout tabs. These are known as the contextual tab. By default, they are not appearing here. So you can check it. We only have the insert, we only have the design, we have the home, but we don't have the design and also the layout tab. When we click on this one, on this table, they will appear. So we can call them as contextual tabs. So here the design, here is the tab. It means you can apply some designs to the table. For instance, different designing that you can apply. For instance, I want this design, so you can simply implement it. If you want to apply some sharing upon this table, you click upon this one. So like this. If you want to change the border style of this table, you can here choose the type of the border. For instance, I want a border like this one. Okay, you can choose it the type here, uh, or you can uh, choose, and you can choose the color for this one. For instance, I prefer the red one. You can draw it here directly, so that will be drawn. If you don't want to draw it, then you can apply it from here. For instance, I want all borders, so simply select the table and implement it from here, that I want all borders. It is very simple. If you don't want any border, then you say no border. If you again want to implement the border again, say for instance all border, based on your requirement, the left border, or what you can say the top border, you can turn it on or turn it off from here. It is the border painter. For instance, if you don't have any border, you can take the advantage from this painter. You can paint the border here from here like this, based on your requirement, like this. So the layout, basically, there are some other options in the layout contextual tab. For instance, here we can select a specific cell. For instance, here the cell is selected. For instance, I want to select the entire column, so the entire column is selected, basically. If you want to select, for instance, the entire row, so for instance, you are here and you want to select the entire row, so the entire row is selected. You can also do it like this, but it is the formal way. If you want to select the entire table, so here the entire table is selected. So we have those properties of the table. So first of all, select. We talk about all these properties here. For instance, the left, center, we all have these options also here. We will be talking about each one: the column, the cell, the text, okay, the table. We will be talking about this here. So it is the drawing toolbar that we said before. That what is the drawing toolbar? So with the help of the drawing toolbar, you can draw the tables. For instance, here I want to draw a table like this. For instance, I need 3 columns. So there are 3 columns. I need, for instance, 2 rows like this based upon the requirement. So it is the drawing toolbar. If you don't need anything, then you can simply use the eraser. So here I don't need this column, for instance. Simple. If you want to delete, for instance, I don't need this row, so you simply delete. I said delete the row for me. Okay, you can delete the entire table. You can delete a specific cell. For instance, here is the cell. I want to delete it, so you simply delete the cell. Shift to the left. It means like this. You can delete the entire table, so you select the table, delete. So it is very simple. So let's move towards the layout. So you can also insert, or you can also insert the rows or insert the columns, basically here. For instance, I need a row above, so you simply click it here. For instance, here are some text, so I want to insert a row below of this text, so you simply click this one. You want to insert a column, for instance, here, insert to the left, so I insert the column here. Insert to the right, a column to the right. So it is very simple. For instance, if you want to merge, if you want to combine those cells with each other, so you take advantage of this command, which is known as the merge cells. You want to merge a number of cells together. So here is the merge. For instance, I say Rana University. So here it is. But if you want to change the alignment of this text, you might use this alignment grouping. So for instance, here, you can bring it to the center, you can bring it here, different locations, okay? Based upon your requirement, you can choose. For instance, I prefer here, Rana University Center. So for instance, it is a cell, you want to split it back. You want to split it back, so you click upon this one, split the cells. So you click upon this one, you specify number of columns, I need two columns, and I need two rows, basically. So here we have two columns and also two rows. There are two rows and two columns. So it means you can split one cell into a number of cells. For instance, I want to split this cell into different cells. So I need two number of columns and one number of cells. So here we have two number of columns and one row. So based upon your requirement, you can do it. You can split also some tables. So autofit, autofit, we will be talking about it in the insertion, in the insertion of the table, autofit to the content, autofit to the window. So here we have the same options. Autofit when you insert for the first time, we have autofit to the content, autofit to the window. We will be talking about this one here. So the height, you can change the height. For instance, the height, you can increase the height of a cell, or you can decrease it from here, or you can put a number, for instance, 1. And the width, for instance, I prefer 1 for this one. So based on your requirement, you can put the height and also the width of the cells. So for instance, pretend that you insert a table again from here, for instance, here, and the columns are not distributed equally. Okay, they are not the same. For instance, one column is bigger, one column is, so they are not basically distributed equally. So you simply select the table, you go to layout. So here I say distributed the column. So here check the column, we have different sizes for the columns. So I want to distribute it equally, so I simply click distribute the columns. So now they are equal in size. So same for the rows, for instance. So we have different rows, different sizes for the rows, and they are not basically the same. I want to distribute them equally. So I simply select the table. I say distribute the rows equally for me. So here, all the rows and all the columns are now distributed equally. All the rows and all the columns are distributed equally. Again, I'm going to merge this one. So merge the cells for me. I say Rona University, for instance. You change the alignment. I say I prefer the center for this one. You can also check the direction of the text here. For instance, I say name, designation. I want to change the direction of the, what we can say, uh, the text. For instance, I prefer like this. I prefer like this designation. You can change the direction of the text basically from here, which is known as the text direction. So let me tell you something. For instance, if you remember a command, for instance, the text direction, so you can simply select the text. So we have here one option, one cool option. So for instance, you type it here. For instance, text direction, text direction, change the text direction. So it is a feature in Microsoft Word 2016. If you don't remember a command, so you simply type it here, text direction, text direction. Again, text direction, text direction. So you can do it from this dictionary, which is known as the command dictionary. It is like a help button, but it is not the help button. It is like a sort of help, but we can call it a command dictionary, or you can do it from here. Any command you can type. For instance, you want to make it bold, so you simply put it here, bold. So here it is. You want to make it italic, for instance, you simply type it, italic, italic, for instance. So check the text, guys. So it is a command dictionary. So you can also sort. For instance, you have a couple of names here. Uh, for instance, uh, I say, for instance, Zamir. I say Ahmed. I say, for instance, Faisal. I say, for instance, Khan. And you want to sort all these. So you simply select it. I say sort. What is the column? Try to check this one because we have a header. It is the header of our table, the name, for instance. So name is, if you remember this one, so it will be considered column one, and this one will also be sorted in ascending or descending order. So my table has the header. We select this one, and based on what you want to do ascending or descending order. I say based upon the name because I selected only the name. If you select the entire table, then you will get this designation also. Ascending or descending order. I say the ascending order, and it is the text basically. So, so let's check it, guys. So we have Ahmed, we have Faisal, we have Khan, we have Sami. Z is at the end, A is at the beginning. So it means you can sort your text, your numbers, your salaries, or whatever based upon your requirement. For instance, if you have the designation, for instance, the engineer, the doctor, for instance, the lecturer, and the clerk, for instance. If you select, so you will get both basically here. So based upon what? The designation or the name? I say based upon the designation, try to sort it in descending order. So here, the lecturer, the engineer, the doctor, and the clerk. So, so it was all about the sorting. So pretend if you have a table and you want the table. So let me clear these all. So I simply insert a table again. For instance, here I want to insert one more. For instance, we have the name and we have the designation, for instance. So if you want to repeat this row at every page, pretend you have multiple pages, then you click this one, repeat header rows. For instance, if you have now multiple pages, so let's check it, guys. So here, check it. We have a new table at the second page. So it is now repeated.